Clapperboard, welcome to the ultimate full-stack web app development tutorial. Ready to build a real-world application from scratch? Let's dive in. Technologies we'll use in this tutorial: Frontend, Angular, Backend, SpringBoot, Database, MySQL, API, Documentation, Swagger, and for deployment, Docker. Remove icon from this content light bulb. Here's what you'll learn: how to build a full-stack app step by step. Connect Angular frontend with SpringBoot backend. Use Swagger to document and test APIs. Store data using MySQL with proper schema design. And containerize the entire app using Docker. This tutorial is perfect for beginners and intermediate developers, students, and passionate tech learners, anyone who wants to master modern full-stack development. So let's build, test, and deploy together. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more learning content. Hello guys, welcome back to my channel. In this video, we are going to see a demo and development using Cursor AI. We can start by viewing the API documentation for our project using Swagger UI. Here, we can see the project details, including the REST API services, base URL, and all the APIs organized by controllers. Let's start the demo. This is the project landing page, which includes a header and main content with register and login forms for the authentication module. Now, we can proceed to register and log in for authentication using a JWT token. This web page is built on the Angular platform and developed using Cursor AI. The AI added necessary validations to the registration form, such as maximum length for the mobile number, password input type, and password confirmation validation. We can see an error hint displayed when we enter mismatched passwords. After successful registration, the login page will appear. Here, we can see that the AI missed the logic. The page allows navigation to the menu and order pages without login. We should ask the AI to fix this. Okay, let's check if navigation works after a successful login. Good, it navigated to the menu page and displays all the food items based on different categories. Let's add items to the cart and check the cart page. Here, we can see the cart count increases when we select items. Now, we can navigate to the cart page by clicking the cart menu in the header. The design looks fine. AI has provided options to update quantity and remove cart items here. Okay, we have added 9 items. Let's proceed to place the order. Good, the order page looks great. We can see the order item number, total items with quantities, and the total amount with an order summary. But the item column is not showing the food or item name. It's an issue we need to fix. Hi. Here we can see a demo of MySQL Workbench IDE showing our project's database and tables. We can see a database called restaurant_db with 4 tables: menu_items, order_items, orders_list, and users. I will show the stored data using a select query for each table one by one. This SQL schema was entirely created by the AI tool. Hi guys, let's go to the browser and download the required Cursor IDE for our development. The Cursor AI IDE looks like VS Code. It has predefined tabs to chat with AI and an AI agent called Composer, as I explained in the previous video. If you haven't seen that video, I'll add it in the icon at the top of this video. Here, we can see that the Cursor editor has many features, such as code snippet suggestions, predictive code completion using tab, and understanding the code base through chat with AI, etc. Okay, let's download the IDE based on our OS. My system is running Windows 11, so I will choose the first option. I just installed this IDE using the default options. You can choose a custom directory if needed. Let's explore Cursor AI and develop a full stack app. Make sure to subscribe to this channel and share it with your colleagues and friends to help them learn. This pop-up shows that the keyboard should be configured based on the IDE. I'll leave it as the default, VS Code. We can change the AI communication language. I'll choose English as the default and install the command line tools for code and cursor from here. I have already installed them. Let's open the terminal and check these commands. Yes, the terminal command code is opening the Cursor IDE. And the cursor command is also working. If it is not working on your system, you can install it. Here, it is asking to install the extensions from my VS Code. I will start from scratch for learning purposes. The IDE is asking to choose the data preference. Let's select privacy mode for now. We can change it later if needed. We need to log in with our account to continue with the free plan of Cursor AI. Oh, I've already used this number and the limit has expired. It logged in using cached data from the Cursor tool. For now, I'll skip the login and proceed with project creation. Here, we have multiple options. I will create a local directory to access my project. Let's click on Open Project and create a new directory. Here, we can see the chat window and limited features available for free usage. Now, we can do the login. I will log in through Google account. The free plan is called Hobby. It includes a 2-week trial, 2,000 requests for completions, and 50 slow premium requests. Now, we can see the agent mode in chat box. I will going to use my existing AI prompt to create full stack application using Java Spring, MySQL and Angular. The same AI prompt I was used my previous Replit AI tutorial video. Let's copy and use it the same in Cursor AI. Let's see how it is understand and generate project files. AI prompt is generate a full stack web application for a restaurant menu and ordering system. The application should allow customers to register by entering their mobile number and name. After registration, they should be able to view a list of foods categorized by type. Customers can select items, add them to the cart, and place an order. In the order status page, users should see real-time updates on their food order, waiting, cooking, served. Once all items are served, the user should be able to see billing details. No online payment is required at this stage. Tech stack is for Frontend Angular, with Bootstrap for UI, Backend, SpringBoot, REST API, Database, MySQL, for storing user, order, and menu data, real-time updates, WebSockets or polling for order status updates authentication, simple session or JWT authentication for returning customers key features, user registration, customer enters their mobile number and name to proceed. Menu page, displays food items categorized by starters, main course, desserts, beverages, etc. Order placement, users can select items, add to cart, and confirm the order. Order status tracking, real-time status updates like waiting rightward arrow cooking rightward arrow served. Billing page, shows order summary and total cost, no payment integration needed. Admin panel, optional to update menu items, change order status, and view customer orders. Generate clean and modular Angular frontend with Bootstrap UI, and a SpringBoot backend with RESTful APIs to handle registration, orders, and real-time updates. Ensure the database schema includes users, menu items, orders, and order status tables. Also, implement a WebSocket or polling mechanism for real-time updates. Let's select the AI prompt and give command in the chat windows. We can see selected data or file showing in chat window. Here, we can add any reference document, so AI will read those reference and develop the project. It is awesome feature, right? It is red web and all recent changes, we will do it in latest and let's start to develop. Here, I just give command build an application as per this prompt using Angular for frontend and backend Spring Web Service with MySQL database of PostgreSQL. It will read and start to develop or create project files automatically. Cool, it is read it and asking us to create basic project structure like frontend and backend. Let's run this command. It will generate two folders called Frontend and Backend. I think AI uses a separate terminal to execute its commands. It is try to install Angular CLI and execute Angular project create command. This IDE uses a PowerShell terminal, which has caused a policy issue. Let's see how it is fixed themselves. AI used alternative way to change directory to project folder of frontend. Now, asking to run Angular CLI alone first. Let's run this command. Then asking to run a new Angular project through terminal command. Yeah, it says a PowerShell execution policy issue has occurred, so it's trying a different approach to create all the project files manually. Now, we can see the project folder created, and the package.json file is being generated. Then, it started to create backend project folder and pom.xml for Spring project. We can manually check and accept those files and changes if we have the knowledge. Here in the project window, folders have been generated, and the code has also started to be created. Let's check pom.xml and application.properties files. It has added all the configurations for the database and JWT. So, it has created the package.json file for Angular, the pom.xml for the Maven-based Spring app as the backend, the SpringBoot application class, and the properties file. We can see that it started with the user entity class, followed by the menu item, order, and order item classes. Cool. It has generated a README file to understand the project and its features based on our prompt. User registration with a mobile number, menu item categories by food type, cart functionality, real-time order status updates, order history, and billing, and an admin panel for menu management. It has also added details about the front-end and back-end technologies, prerequisites for running the project locally, and setup instructions. It uses MySQL 8.0 and includes the database name and configuration. Here, we can see the high-level setup to run this project. And we are going to implement Swagger for API documentation. Here, it has provided the project endpoints. The APIs include register, login, menu, categories, get items by category, place order, get order details, get orders by users, and order status. I have done the setup of project structure for both the frontend and backend. For frontend using Angular, now, it just create package.json file, it will contains all the necessary dependencies. Also, created backend code, with SpringBoot and pom.xml file, application main class file, needed entity classes, properties with database configurations. Now, it's asking us which part we are going to develop. Here, it is showing without accepting the change from us. We should validate and accept it. The IDE has suggested the Java Pack extension for VS Code. We can install it to help run and read Java code. Let's assign a task to AI. Yes, start building the backend app using Spring Boot with a database. Let's wait to write the code and review it. It has started generating the code for the user repository Java class to call user web services. Then, it started generating the repository class for menu item and order. Now, it has started generating the DTO classes for the request and response objects of user registration, login, and JWT token provider. Let's quickly review the code. The user repository interface extends JPA repository to provide methods for finding a user by mobile number and validating if a mobile number exists in the database. Then, the menu item repository interface extends JPA repository for menu item to find items by food category, check available items, and retrieve all items from the database. The order repository interface also extends JPA repository to find user orders by order time in descending order and to check the status of orders. These functions return a list of orders. Let's check the DTO class for user registration. It uses the @data annotation from Lombok to automatically generate getters, setters, and other utility methods. The class includes name, mobile number, and password as its fields. Next, the login DTO class has two parameters, mobile number and password, as per our prompt. The JWT token provider is annotated with @component in Spring and includes functions to generate tokens, retrieve the username from a token and validate the token. JWT authentication filter class is annotated with @component and is typically used in SpringBoot applications to filter incoming HTTP requests and validate JWT, JSON web token, tokens. Security config is annotated with @enable web security and @configuration and is used to configure Spring security settings, defining how authentication and authorization are managed for the application. Then, the user service class has implementations for user registration and finding users by mobile number. These functions use methods inherited from the user repository interface. Then, the menu service class has a constructor with the menu item repository interface and provides functions to get all menu items, retrieve items by category, add new menu items, and update item availability. The order service class is annotated with @service and is used to create orders, get orders by order ID, retrieve user-based orders, and update order status. Next, the WebSocket config class has CORS configuration, a WebSocket endpoint, and a message broker. It is annotated with @enable WebSocket message broker and serves as a configuration class for the Spring application. Now, we can see the auth controller class annotated with @REST controller for validating authentication. The @request mapping annotation sets the endpoint to /API/auth, and @cross origin allows requests from the Angular web server domain. Here, there are two APIs, one for user registration with the endpoint /register, and another for user authentication with the endpoint /login. The authentication API provides the user object to the client or Angular app upon successful login. It is continuously generating the project files. Now, let's look at the menu controller class. It has @request mapping set to the /API/menu path. The get methods are used to get all menu items and retrieve menu items by category. The post method is for adding a new menu item, and the put method is for checking or updating item availability. Next, the order controller has @request mapping set to the /API/orders path. It includes a post method for creating orders, a get method to retrieve an order by its ID, another get method to get orders by user, and a put method to update the order status. AI has generated the following components, listing the features, and is now ready for testing. Now, backend code is ready to test with database. We should start the MySQL server after completing all the code. Here, it provides the database creation query. And update our MySQL database credentials in the Spring Applications application.properties file. Also, provide instructions to execute our SpringBoot backend application through the terminal. Let's apply this terminal command here and see what it does. We will check if the server has started by accessing http://localhost 8080. It's not showing. Okay, we'll check it later and continue with the Angular part of the code. Let ask to generate front-end code now. Yes, let's continue implementing the front-end part using Angular. It provided a terminal command to create a project directory and an Angular project, but we have already created the project folder called frontend. Anyway, let's run this command and see what happens. It's facing a PowerShell issue again while generating the code. It might consider an alternative way to generate the required Angular code. It has started by generating the model classes for user, order, and menu item. Like Java project. Next, it is generating the service class for authentication to communicate with our backend application. Following that, it is generating the menu service and order service classes in Angular using TypeScript. We'll check if Angular CLI is installed on the computer by opening the terminal and running the ng version command. Angular CLI is already installed on my system. You can install it manually using npm install g at angular/CLI before starting the Angular app. Now, AI has started generating component classes for login, register, and menu items to display on the front end. Next, AI has started creating the cart module, including the cart service and components. Here, it is now creating the order tracking component to show the order status. Finally, it is generating the routing module file to navigate between Angular components like login, register, menu, and order. Then, it created the app module.ts file, declaring all the components and services. It is the root module of the application and acts as a container for managing components, services, and other modules. Next, it is writing code for the auth interceptor to handle API requests and responses from the backend application. Now that the front-end and backend code are completed, it's time to run and check for any issues that might occur. Now, let's start executing the backend project through the terminal. The Spring app failed to start due to an issue in the JWT authentication filter class, which requires a user details service but it's missing. Let's see how AI will fix this error. We will select the error line and provide it to AI for fixing. I hope it understands the issue and is creating the required missing class files, user principal and custom user details service. It also updates the security config file and sets the core's properties to allow requests from the Angular application. Okay, now let's restart the SpringBoot app and check if it runs without any issues. It's still encountering an error. Let's check the error message to understand the issue and troubleshoot further. Okay, since I didn't read the full error log, I think it might be related to the MySQL server. Let's check with AI to fix this issue. Yes, I forgot to start the MySQL server, but AI suggested some steps to fix the issue. AI suggested resetting the credentials, but we will update our MySQL credentials later. Next, we'll check if MySQL is running using the MySQL version command. AI says MySQL is either not installed or not added to the Windows environment path. It suggested downloading and installing it. Okay, let's start downloading MySQL. It's not installed on my system yet. If you already have it, this error wouldn't occur. Let's open the official website at devmysql.com, https://dev.mysql.com, and download the stable version of MySQL for the Windows operating system. You can log into MySQL community to download, but it's optional. I'll just click the option below that says no thanks, just start my download. We can start to install the software. I just selected the complete setup option for future purposes. You can choose the setup type based on your specific usage needs. Installation is complete. Let's run the MySQL configurator here. We'll configure settings like MySQL server type, networking options, and credentials. Here, the data directory shows your MySQL server installation path. Under type and networking, we can choose the configuration type. I'll select development computer for now as per AI suggestion. Let's go ahead and set the MySQL root password for authentication. Okay, let's set a strong or medium password here to ensure better security. And let's set the username and host as localhost, along with a secure password for this user. You can also add more users if needed, to allow additional access to this MySQL server. I just skipped the other options for now. We'll cover the detailed MySQL configuration in a separate video. MySQL setup is done. We can use either the MySQL terminal or workbench. For demo purposes, I'll download and use MySQL workbench. Let's download MySQL workbench from the official website, dev.mysql.com/download/workbench, https://dev.mysql.com/download/workbench. Download completed. Let's go ahead and install MySQL workbench now. Workbench tools are ready. Let's go ahead and create our database now. In the Query tab, we can execute the SQL query to create our database. Let's execute the SQL script by clicking the flash icon in the toolbar or using the shortcut key, usually Ctrl+Enter. Database created successfully. Before creating the tables, let's see how to verify that the MySQL service is running on Windows. In Windows, open the Run dialog, Win+R, type services.msc, and press Enter. This opens the Services panel, where you can find and check the status of MySQL services to see if they are running. Yes, the MySQL service is running. We can now proceed to set the MySQL credentials. SQL setup is complete. Let's now build the Spring Boot application. Table creation and data handling will be managed by the app itself. I manually executed the Spring Boot application through the terminal using the mvn Spring Boot run command. Once again, the application failed to start. Let's check the status by accessing http://localhost 8080 to see if the Spring Boot server is running. The domain is still inaccessible due to an error while running the Spring Boot application. Okay, I won't debug the log manually. Let's inform the AI and see how it handles the fix. Let's copy the error message from the browser and inform AI that localhost is showing this error. I hope it finds the issue in the Spring security configuration and modifies it automatically to fix the problem. Okay, we'll accept this change for now and proceed. It also creates a test controller to verify whether the server is running. We can see the changes made by the AI. It has also provided a test controller with an endpoint to verify the server. Okay, we will stop the current terminal process and perform a clean build of the Spring Boot application. Make sure to accept all the changes before building the app. Let's clean the MVN app. Showing an error, let's try it using command prompt instead of PowerShell. Still facing the same issue. I think I was running the command in the wrong directory. We need to navigate to the Backend or Spring Boot app directory first. Awesome. The app is now getting cleaned properly before the build. Okay, now we'll start the Spring application. Awesome! The SpringBoot server has started successfully. Now, let's test it in the browser using the test endpoint. Now, let's check all the backend API endpoints to ensure everything is working as expected. Some controllers and endpoints can't be tested manually, so I'm going to integrate the Swagger dependency for API documentation. I will inform Cursor AI to add Swagger to this project. Good, it has added the required changes to the developer documentation for our project. I hope it has completed the changes. Let's review them and test how it's working. Let's clean and restart the Spring app to test the Swagger API documentation. Awesome, we can see the Swagger documentation. Good, we can see all the controllers, API methods, request payloads, and responses to help clients or API consumers, such as front-end app developers, understand the API details. Okay, let's test the auth controller API through Swagger. It's working and registered successfully. Let's check login API. Oh, login API facing internal server error. I think I should pass the JWT token for authentication. We'll pause here and continue testing it later. Okay, let's stop here. We'll test it after completing all the changes. Before proceeding further, I'm going to integrate a Docker script for auto deployment of my full stack app. Let's comment it to Cursor AI to create the Docker script. Cool, it is creating the Docker script for the SpringBoot app and MySQL database. We will add Angular later. Yes, we can see the Docker file and Docker compose.yml file in our project directory. Here, I will just add the Docker extension to view and validate running containers. Here, we can see that Docker Desktop is still not started. We should start it manually. Oh, unfortunately my Docker desktop has some issues due to the AMD processor on my Windows PC. I will continue in the next video. If you want, you can check out my previous Docker demonstration videos. Okay, we will proceed to complete the front-end Angular part of the code. In the next video, we will handle Docker, MySQL, and all the API validations. I gave the command backend is fine, let's run the front-end Angular app, but it started creating a Docker script for Angular instead. Anyway, it should understand the latest changes. We'll inform it clearly to run the Angular app. Next, we will proceed to run the Angular code manually. We will see you in part 2 of the video. For more detailed videos, comment, like, and share with your friends, colleagues, and students. Subscribe and support our channel.